Hi, Meenakshi. Good evening.
Hello, very good evening, ma'am.
So, how has your day been so far?
Yes, my day is going very well paced.
Okay.
Yes,
And
yes.
what's new? How is the weather there, by the way? It was raining and everything.
No,
Did
no, it's
your
a sunny day.
experience?
Sunny days, sunny days are going on now. Like it
Okay.
has not been raining. Like last week, it was raining constantly, but now I guess since last week, the days are sunny.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So actually, we get to read all that from the news itself that a lot of crops also got
Hmm.
spoiled because of untimely, unpredictable rains and everything. So
Yes, it was happening. It was happening last week, but now since last week it is quite well.
things are better.
The well, yes, it's better.
All right, Meenakshi. So, how is the planning for your coaching going on?
Actually, I took a pause for 1 week. So yesterday I resumed it after a week, and today is my second session with you because I have only 14 sessions left.
Okay.
So, and I visited somewhere as well as I thought I should catching up on my previous task. So, for the sake of that, I took a pause and now I am back.
Okay. And so, after completing the course, are you all set to use all your learnings and lessons and experiences in your own coaching center?
Yes. As you already know, I am also into teaching.
Yes.
And yes, every day, whenever I learn something, I also teach my students as well. So it's
Hmm.
a win-win situation, right? If I am gaining knowledge, if I am gaining even confidence, because only learning will not work. Learning and knowledge both go hand in hand. So if I have topic, even yesterday I was thinking that I should start listening to some podcast, and
Hmm.
I started listening, right? Because I guess now I have good fluency, I can speak better, I can accumulate a lot of more vocabulary, but as I know, it's a never-ending journey, right? So if
Absolutely.
I am speaking basic English, but I have vast knowledge, fund of knowledge. So then I can communicate with anyone easily, rather just accumulating vocabulary. So that's why I started listening to podcasts and rather just speaking new words, which I guess already mentioned in my previous session as well. So
Hmm.
I am on my work.
That is so true, Meenakshi, because there are so many times it happens that we come across learners who say they
Hmm.
want to learn English. And the problem is that when you ask them a question or you put across a hypothetical situation, you want to know their opinion on something, or you want them to describe something, tell about their observation, and it is so limited. They
Hmm.
finish up the answer, say, within a sentence or two sentences.
Yes.
And it becomes so difficult because I really want to tell that it's not as much as about how you present it, but the point is that first you need to have the content to present, right? If you have absolutely no thoughts, what will you do with all the grammar knowledge and with all the vocabulary? The first thing
Yes.
you need is you need to have something to speak. If you have nothing to speak, what are you going to do with all that? It's going to be such a waste. So
Right.
that's
Hmm.
a absolute prerequisite. Anyone
Yes.
who wants to learn how to talk in any language for that matter, you first, I think, need to be fond of talking. that, that's very
Yes, ma'am.
important.
But I
Okay.
guess initial days, like if someone is beginner, initial days, it's good that if they are accumulating some words, they are just building up their fluency. So in some way, I guess it's better. But after or over the period of time, they
Mm.
should work on their wisdom as well, isn't it? Like now,
Absolutely.
I have seen or I have noticed that now I have an intermediate level. So if you will ask me any question, so I can't speak only vocabulary and idioms, right? So if I have sufficient knowledge, then I can introduce about topics, about
Absolutely.
ideas. I can easily elaborate the topic.
That
So
is such an interesting way to present this, Meenakshi.
yes,
Definitely. And if I have to continue to what you were saying, then I think the first thing, the first good thing, the positive outcome, when you are well read and you are observant, you see around, you look around, you understand what is happening, you try to grasp what is happening. First good thing will be that you will never feel like you are out of place in any conversation,
yes,
no matter what
exactly.
the age group is, no matter the setting, it is formal, casual, semi formal, it is your friends, your family members, you will always feel like you have an opinion that you can add.
Right.
You have information which you can add to the flow of the conversation. That's the first thing, that you never
Hmm.
feel like, okay, I think my job here is done, I have nothing to talk on this topic. So
Yes.
I think that's the
Hmm.
first good thing, positive thing that you notice when you start working on this. And
Right.
I had a student, I think, long time ago, almost 6, 7 months ago. And like you said, those usage of idioms and phrases. So I understand when you are learning something, you
Hmm.
always want to put your best foot forward. You always want to show what you have learned, right? It's not just with English. Even when you've
Hmm.
learned dancing or art, you will be like, see, I've drawn this. So I understand that excitement. And I have always wished that, and in some subtle ways, I've also told learners that, what, let's first have content. Let's first have a good grammatical formation of a sentence. This idioms, phrases, they'll keep coming later.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
they are impactful only when you use them at the right time. It's like hitting the nail on the head. But you just randomly keep throwing them in the air like that, like you're sprinkling something on top of your food. It won't even
Yes.
look. You're garnishing
Yes.
something which needs no garnishment.
Right, ma'am. And even I have noticed sometimes if I have sufficient knowledge about topics, like if you will ask me that, Meenakshi, tell me the difference between men and women communication. Is there any difference between them? So, okay, I have multiple things to talk, but now my mind is there that I only have to use some vocabulary and idioms during this topic.
Mm.
And
Yes.
whatever knowledge I have, I might that forget, isn't it? So
Absolutely.
that's why, while watching my previous videos, where I noticed this thing, Meenakshi, you had a lot of things to speak, but why you are chasing the vocabulary and idioms? Let's talk, and vocabulary naturally comes to your mouth, right?
Right, right.
Yes. So
So,
that's why, so after that, the same topic I discussed with one of my co-learners, and went very well. Like I spoke continuously 10 minutes, I guess, on one particular topic that, okay, women are emotional, on the other hand, men are rational, right? So they have a huge difference while they communicate, and there is one line by it is saying by John that men are from Mars and women are from Venus, right? So there is
yes.
a huge difference, not even a communication in everything, right? If men can be the emotional, so how they can deal with society, how they can become a good businessman? Not at all, right? But now if I think logically, right? Nowadays women are also earning money, right?
Yeah,
They are also running their own business. So somewhere they are also well educated. They think logically, I must say, right? But
absolutely.
earlier it was not there, right? Women are always, like, men always protect their children, but on the other hand, women always nurture them lovingly instead of giving them protection, right? Like
So
if my
that's
daughter wants,
very
huh?
defined, and people did not want to get into each other's roles. They
Yes.
wanted the roles to be the same. And
Hmm.
mostly these roles were gender based, like you said.
Right.
because
Yes.
the woman is expected to be more caring and nurturing. Okay, so you take care of the house, you keep the home clean, you keep the children well fed. That's your job. And because men are pragmatic, they are more practical, so they can go out and use logic and earn money. So it was a very
Hmm.
hard definition, and the boundaries were very, very rigid.
Right.
But
Exactly.
I'm glad that things are what they are right now. There is much more flexibility now.
Hmm.
Men also have hybrid jobs, so they also try to give in as much contribution as possible. Women understand if men want to take a hiatus, they want to take a break for a couple of months, they are ready to put their foot forward and take care of the family. So I think it's good to be able to depend on each other instead of having this being the flag bearer of one particular department, and I only have to do this, even I might, if I might be like ridiculous in that department, but I'm still
Hmm.
supposed to do it, right?
Yes, yes. But like earlier, we used to see, na, like women have to only take care of your family. But out of 10, if one woman is working, she has to take care of her family. For instance, she has to complete her household chores as well as she can work. If I
Correct.
talk about my husband, like if he does job, right? But his work only for 8 hours or 9 hours, right? After then he's free somewhere. But
Yes,
if they give hand to each other, right? Like if the woman is or wife is working, on the other hand, husband is also working, so they can manage the household chores together. Rather, we think about society, but what society will say us, what they can do. Will they come our house? So why you are looking for their judgment, right? So I guess we should not take care of, we should not bother the society. We should mind our own business.
absolutely.
So yes.
Very true.
Hmm.
And I have seen, Meenakshi, that in the bigger, comparatively bigger cities and the metropolitan cities, these things have definitely become better. There
Hmm.
is a broader way of looking at things. The perspectives have changed. People are more ready now to
Yes.
accept changes. But somewhere I feel when you live in a smaller setting, so when I'm saying smaller setting, I mean even in the big cities. Okay, so you go to big cities like Chandigarh, you go to Delhi, or you go to Bangalore. So there are so many people who are earning, who have their livelihood. Both the partners are working, they are managing the house together. You see that. Yet there will be one secluded part of the city where you will mostly see, okay, here it's the same the way it was 20 years ago. Men are working, women don't want to go out, they have to take permission, or they might be having chauffeur driven cars. So there is a lot of wealth, there's a lot of prosperity, but you don't see that change in the mind frame.
Mind. Still they are orthodox.
Right. So I think it really doesn't matter whether you are from a big city or a small city, or are the changes more visible in these bigger cities. But I really feel that education makes a lot of difference.
Hmm. Yes.
I was just having a talk with one of my learners. I asked him, so he's been in the industry for around 25, 26 years,
Hmm.
manufacturing industry. Okay. So one day we were just having a conversation. I said, tell me something. What is that one difference? You've worked for 26 years and in a
Hmm.
manufacturing company. So tell me, what is that one difference between men and women which you have noticed has changed, or the difference has become lesser? So he said, ma'am, when I joined, earlier there used to be no women working in any shift. Now you see women not only working in shifts, even in the night shifts they are there. So that kind of change I have seen happening in front of my eyes. And I asked him, okay, what do you think was the change? And he said, "Oh, because of Modi government. Modi government came and he gave so many seats to women. That is why things have changed." And I'm like, no. But
No,
I
no,
didn't want to
because
like
it is
break his
mindset.
I
Because
was like, he's such a staunch Modi supporter. I really didn't want to break his heart. But I want to tell him, don't you think that when a girl and a boy sit together in a classroom and they
Hmm.
study, the same subject, they answer the same test, they are wearing the same uniform, they use the same premises, automatically the sense of equality sets in.
Equality. Yes,
That if
actually.
we are doing the same things, then we deserve the same things in life. That is where the equality enters. Nobody's sitting and thinking, oh my God, Modi has got more number of MPs in Parliament. I'm like, yeah.
Yes, yes. I guess parents are also, responsible for that. There was a girl who went to Canada, right? And after that, I guess there were many girls, and their parents allow them to go because I guess, one of them they gave them opportunity that you
Hmm.
should go there, you should start your career, you should choose your path first.
Yes.
Then,
Yes.
she started her career. So meanwhile, other parents also started believing on their children, right? And
Yes.
now, how many girls are there? They are pursuing their passion and they are happy, and their parents are also happy. Okay, now our children are doing something. There is
Hmm.
no discrimination between girls and boys. They both can pursue their passion. And even nowadays, parents are not, willing to get marry their child soon. I'm
Hmm.
talking about girl here because I have noticed. I'm not talking about each and every parent because some of them still they have orthodox nature. Like
Hmm.
okay, after 22 years we have to get marry you. But most of them first you should pursue your pursue your career. Then
Hmm.
let's see. First you should make your career and then see.
Become
Because
independent.
you should be,
Hmm.
yes, you should be independent first, right? And
Okay.
somewhere, like if I talk about me, I have completed my master's degree. I'm postgraduate. Okay? So my husband, gives me priority. Okay, now you are educated, and he gives me value as well. But if I were not educated, my parents also thought that okay, you are a girl. Why I, gave you education, right? You have to go
Put in
after
support.
getting married, you
Hmm.
had to go. So, but still, if I am educated, I can, I can stand by my husband.
Hmm.
Yes, in the
Hmm.
society and by
Absolutely.
my husband, right? So, I guess
Right.
education is must, and nowadays parents are more aware. Like if I talk about my daughter, I
Hmm.
enrolled my daughter in top notch school so that
Hmm.
she would be educated first, right, before getting married because it's a different project, right?
Correct.
So, we should be aware, we should make them understand because if you have education, there is no use of aggressiveness. You can take your decision politely, calmly, gracefully. Yes, here I can take this decision, here I can take this decision. But if I am not educated, how I would able to get, right decision? How I
Hmm.
can stand with my family if they want something? I can't give suggestion.
Right. And
So,
like they say that if you want to win an
hmm.
argument, you need to raise. Okay.
Sorry, ma'am. Yes, yes.
I don't.
Actually, yes.
So they say that if you want to win an argument or a debate, you need to
Hmm.
raise your argument. You need to raise your points, not your voice.
Hmm.
And you can do that only when you have substantial inputs
Hmm.
to give. If you don't have something that is worth any value, that is when you start shouting. That is when you start raising your voice and you try to dominate the other person by your aggressiveness. But if you know that your argument makes more sense, it is more practical, it has more logic, you will not waste your energy in shouting. You'll wait for the other person to just get tired of shouting, and then you can just present your points.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
So, luckily enough, there are people who have taken that lead. Like
Hmm.
you said, that there must have been the first parent who must have sent his or her
Yes.
daughter to Canada
Hmm.
to go and earn, right? Similarly, there must have been somebody who might have said, like I was watching the movie Gunjan the other day, and the girl herself just said that, you know what, I'll come back. It's a completely male dominated field. So she went into Air Force. Okay, she
Hmm.
wanted to become a pilot. So Gunjan Saxena is an actual person, and it's based on her life. So she goes for the training and she returns. She says that because there is so much of discrimination, she's the only female candidate and everybody is trying to avoid her. Nobody talks to her. There is no washroom facility separately available for her because it's a completely male dominated field. And she comes back and she says that, you know what, I think it's not going to work out for me. You get me married, it's okay. So it was her father who, convinced her, talked her out of it, that, you know what, just because nobody else has done it before you, that's no ground to say that, okay, I also don't want to do it. So
Hmm.
there are parents like these
Hmm.
push, and then there are these girls who become an example, and then we are more comfortable that, okay, somebody has done it before us, so we can also do it. So they have led us with example,
Yes,
right?
and the same in the case of Bharti Sharma. She is also a comedian speaker, na, in Kapil Sharma show.
Yes,
Have
Bharti.
you heard her?
Bharti.
Bharti.
I really like her a lot. I like her a lot.
Right, and she also told that my mother pushed me. If my mother, took care of society, because she said
Hmm.
there were many of our acquaintances, many relatives. They told you had to take care of your daughter.
Hmm.
Why you were sending her in different country. वहाँ पर उसकी इज्जत लूट लेंगे. Some of
Hmm.
like such kind of things. She had to listen, but her mother give it a shot, and she said, okay, no problem, let's see how things work. But
Absolutely.
she took a decision, and now she has become a famous comedian speaker.
She
So
has made
because
such a good place for herself in the industry.
yes, yes,
Undoubtedly, undoubtedly. Okay,
yes.
Meenakshi, it has been a great, great session with you. My God, and I see so much of change, not just in the content that you are speaking, but also in the framing of sentences. I just did not notice any subject-verb agreement. I remember in first session we spoke so much about it. I did not find many mistakes in the tenses. So not just in the content, but you have upped your game in the grammar also, and it's so good to see somebody improve right in front of your eyes. It's like you're a part of that journey. It has been an absolute pleasure. The whole session has been great. So wishing you all the success, wishing you all the enlightenment in life.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right,
Okay,
Meenakshi. So thank you so much for joining. All the very best, and I'll see you around soon.
okay, ma'am. Bye bye.